Lily Brooks walked quickly between the tables at Sapphire Restaurant, carrying a tray full of drinks. She was tired. Her feet hurt in the black shoes she had to wear for work. She had been at the restaurant since noon, and now it was almost 8. In the evening, the restaurant was busy tonight. Every table was full. The sound of people talking, laughing, and the soft music playing in the background filled the air. Sapphire was not a regular restaurant. It was the kind of place where rich people came to eat. The walls were painted a deep blue color. Big crystal lights hung from the ceiling. The tables had white cloths on them. The plates and glasses were expensive. From the big windows, people could see the whole city below. Lily had worked at Sapphire for 3 years now. She was 32 years old. She was younger. She had different dreams. She wanted to play piano in big concert halls. She practiced for hours every day. She went to a special school for musicians. Everyone said she had a gift. But then life happened. Her mother got sick. Lily had to come home to take care of her. She needed money for the doctor bills, so she got a job as a waitress. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. And now here she was, still serving drinks to rich people who didn't even look at her face when they ordered. Tonight was extra busy because of a private party in the back room. Some rich man who made computer programs had just bought another company. He was celebrating with his friends. Lily didn't have to serve them, thank goodness. She had her own tables to worry about. One of her tables had Henry Coleman sitting at it. Everyone knew who Henry Coleman was. He owned buildings all over the city. He was in the newspapers all the time. He was rich and powerful. The other servers at Sapphire told stories about him. He said he liked to test people. He would ask hard questions or make strange requests. If he'd liked you, he could give you a job or money. If he didn't like you, he could make sure you never worked in a good restaurant again. Lily tried to be extra careful with his table. She smiled her best smile. She made sure his water glass was always full. She remembered exactly how he wanted his steak cooked. But then it happened. As she was pouring more water into his glass, someone bumped into her from behind. The water spilled onto the white tablecloth right in front of Mr. Coleman. "I'm so sorry," Lily said, her face turning red. She quickly grabbed a cloth from her apron and started to wipe up the water. She kept her eyes down, not wanting to see the anger on Mr. Coleman's face. "I'll get a clean tablecloth right away?" But Mr. Coleman didn't seem angry. Instead, he was looking at her hands as she wiped up the water. "You have pianist's hands," he said in a thoughtful voice. Lily stopped wiping. She looked up at him, surprised. "What? Your hands?" he said again, pointing to them. "Long fingers, strong but gentle. Those are pianist's hands. Do you play?" For a moment, Lily couldn't speak. It was like he had opened a door to a room in her heart that she had locked long ago. Memories came flooding back. Feel of the piano keys under her fingers. The sound of music filling a big room. The warm feeling of doing something she loved. "I used to," she finally said in a quiet voice. A long time ago, something changed in Mr. Coleman's face. His eyes got brighter. He leaned forward in his chair. "How long ago?" Lily shrugged. "About 7 years now. I don't really play anymore." Not. The question was so direct, so personal. Most customers never asked her anything about herself. They just ordered food and expected her to bring it. "Life got in the way," she said simply. Mr. Coleman looked around the restaurant. His eyes stopped at something in the corner. Lily followed his gaze. There was a beautiful black piano there. The restaurant owner had put it there for show. Sometimes, on weekends, they hired someone to play soft music while people ate. But tonight it was quiet. "There's a piano right there," Mr. Coleman said, pointing to it. "Why don't you play something for us?" Before Lily could answer, the restaurant manager, Mr. Phillips, appeared at the table. He had seen the spilled water and come to fix the problem. "Mr. Coleman, I'm so sorry about this," he said, looking nervously at the wet tablecloth. "We'll change it right away. And your meal tonight will be on the house, of course." "Nonsense," Mr. Coleman said, waving his hand. "Accidents happen, but I've just made an interesting discovery. Your waitress is a pianist." Mr. Phillips looked confused. He turned to Lily with raised eyebrows. "Lily used to play," Lily explained, feeling her face get hot again? A long time ago. But I need to get back to work now. The kitchen just put up food for table 5. I want to hear her play, Mr. Coleman said, ignoring what Lily had said. He spoke directly to the manager now. Would that be possible? Mr. Phillips looked uncomfortable. Well, Mr. Coleman, our staff are here to serve food and drinks. We do. Have professional musicians who come in on weekends, I understand? Mr. Coleman cut in. But I'm not asking for a professional, I'm asking for her. He pointed at Lily. Just one song. Sir, I really couldn't, Lily protested. Haven't played in years, and I'm working. Mr. Coleman reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out his wallet. He took out some cash, more cash than Lily had ever seen at once, and put it on the table. This should cover what you would make in tips tonight, he said. Triple it if you're any good. Mr. Phillips's eyes went wide at the sight of the money. Suddenly his attitude changed completely. Well, Lily, he said with a big smile, I think we can spare you for one song. Why don't you go ahead? I'll have... Jake, cover your tables for a few minutes. Lily looked from Mr. Phillips to Mr. Coleman and back again. She could feel her heart beating fast in her chest. Part of her wanted to say no and run back to the kitchen. But another part of her, a part she thought was long dead, was waking up. It was like a thirst she didn't know she had until someone offered her water. Just one song? Mr. Coleman nodded. Just one. Unless you want to play more. People at the nearby tables were starting to look over. They'd heard the conversation. Some of them seemed interested. Others looked annoyed at the interruption of their dinner. Lily took a deep breath. Okay, she said. One song. As she walked toward the piano in the corner, she felt like she was in a dream. The restaurant seemed to grow quiet. She could feel people watching her. She hadn't played in front of people in so long. What if she couldn't remember how? What if her fingers wouldn't work right? What if everyone laughed at her? The piano bench was cold when she sat down. She adjusted it, moving it a little closer to the piano. Then she lifted the cover off the keys. The black and white keys looked up at her like old friends she hadn't seen in years. What should she play? Something simple, she thought. Something she knew by heart. She placed her fingers on the keys and closed her eyes. And then she began to play. The first notes were soft and uncertain. But as she continued, something inside her woke up. Her fingers remembered what to do. They moved across the keys like they had a mind of their own. The music grew stronger, more confident, filled the restaurant with a beautiful sound that made people stop eating and turn to look. Lily forgot about the restaurant. She forgot about the people watching. She forgot about Mr. Coleman and his money. She was lost in the music, in the joy of playing again after so long. It was like finding a piece of herself that had been missing. When the last note faded away, there was a moment of complete silence. Then the restaurant burst into applause. Lily opened her eyes, surprised to find tears on her cheeks. She quickly wiped them away and looked up. The people at the tables were clapping. Some were standing. Mr. Phillips stood by the kitchen door, his mouth open in surprise. And Mr. Coleman was walking toward her, a strange look on his face. That was beautiful, he said when he reached the piano. But I suspect you can do even better. Play something else, something harder. Lily looked up at him, surprised. You want me to play more? Mr. Coleman smiled. It was a smile that changed. His whole face made him look younger and kinder. I think everyone here wants you to play more, he said. Am I right? He called out to the restaurant. The answer came in more applause and some people calling out, yes, and please, play more. And so, with her heart beating fast with excitement and fear and joy all mixed together, Lily turned back to the piano and began to play again. Lily sat at the piano, her fingers hovering over the keys. The whole restaurant was quiet now. Everyone was watching her. She had just played a simple, pretty song and people had liked it. But now Mr. Coleman wanted her to play something harder. Something that would show what she could really do. For a moment she felt scared. It had been so long since she had played anything difficult. Would her fingers remember? Would she make mistakes? Then she took a deep breath and decided to try. She would play something that she used to love, something that had once been part of her soul. She began to play a piece by a composer named Rachmaninoff. It was famous for being very hard to play. The notes came fast, one after another. Her fingers flew across the keys, jumping and stretching. The music was loud and powerful one moment, soft and gentle the next. It filled every corner of the restaurant as she played. Lily forgot about being scared. She forgot about the people watching. She forgot about being a waitress. She was just a musician again, doing what she loved most in the world. Her body swayed with the music. Her face changed, showing all the feelings in the music: sadness, hope, joy, love. The restaurant staff stood frozen, trays in hand, watching her with wide eyes. The kitchen cooks came out to see what was happening. Even the people in the private party room at the back of the restaurant opened their door to listen. In a corner of the room, a man was typing quickly on his phone. His name was Peter Mason. He wrote about music for the city newspaper. He had come to the restaurant for dinner, not expecting to hear any music at all. Now he couldn't believe what he was hearing. This waitress was playing like a professional concert pianist. When Lily finished the piece, the restaurant exploded with sound. People stood up, clapping and cheering. Some were taking videos with their phones. A woman at a nearby table was crying. Mr. Phillips, the restaurant manager, stood with his mouth open. Not believing what he had just heard, Mr. Coleman walked up to the piano again. His face looked different now. Before, he had been curious. Now he looked amazed. "That was incredible," he said. "Who are you? Where'd you learn to play like that?" Lily's hands were shaking now. Not from being scared, but from the feelings rushing through her. It had been so long since she had played like that, so long since anyone had heard her music. "I studied at Juilliard," she said quietly. Juilliard was a famous school for musicians in New York City. "I had a scholarship. I was going to be a concert pianist." "What happened?" Mr. Coleman asked. Lily looked down at her hands. "My mother got sick. She needed me to come home. I was supposed to go on a tour in Europe, playing concerts in different cities. But I had to cancel it. My mother needed care, and we needed money for doctors and medicine, so I came home and got a job." His job. "How long ago was that?" Mr. Coleman asked. 7 years, Lily said. "I haven't played seriously in 7 years. Mr. Coleman shook his head in disbelief. "That's not just talent. That's genius. We're serving water to people who wouldn't know good music if it hit them on the head." Before Lily could answer, the man who had been typing on his phone came. "Excuse me," he said. "Peter Mason from the City Chronicle. I write about music for the newspaper." He turned to Lily. "What you just did was amazing. Would you be willing to talk to me for an article?" Lily felt like she was dreaming. "An article? About me?" "Yes," Peter said. "Our readers would love to hear your story, a hidden musical genius working as a waitress. It's a great story and you're playing. It's world class." Mr. Phillips hurried over now. He looked at Lily differently, like he was seeing her for the first time. "Lily, why don't you take the rest of the night off?" he said. This is amazing. I had no idea you could play like that." "But my tables," Lily said, still thinking. "Like a waitress." "The customers, Jake can cover them," Mr. Phillips said quickly. "Don't worry about it. This is more important." More people were coming up to the piano now. They wanted to meet Lily. They wanted to tell her how beautiful her playing was. Some asked if she gave piano lessons. One woman asked if she could play at her daughter's wedding. A young girl, about 10 years old, pushed through the crowd. She looked up at Lily with big eyes. "Do you think I could play like that someday?" she asked. Lily smiled at her. "If you practice every day and love the music, yes, you could." The girl's face lit up. "I'm going to practice extra hard tomorrow." As more people gathered around, Lily began to feel overwhelmed. It had been so long since she had been the center of attention like this. For 7 years she had been invisible. She was just the person who brought food and took away empty plates. Now suddenly everyone was looking at her, talking to her, wanting something from her. Mr. Coleman seemed to notice how she felt. "I think Ms. Brooks needs some space," he said in a loud voice. The crowd stepped back a little, and I think we should let her decide what happens next. He turned to Lily. "You have an extraordinary gift," he said. "It shouldn't be hidden away. The world should hear you play. Lily felt tears coming to her eyes. It's been so long, she said, and I have responsibilities. My mother still needs care. I have bills to pay. Mr. Coleman nodded. I understand, but I think we can find a way to make it work. Here's my card. He handed her a small white card with his name on it. Call me tomorrow. I'd like to discuss some ideas with you. Lily took the card. Her hand was still shaking a little. Why would you help me? She asked. You don't even know me. Mr. Coleman was quiet for a moment. Then he said, my mother was a pianist too. Not as good as you, but she loved it. She had to give it up to raise me and my brothers and sisters. She always regretted it. Before she died, she made me promise to help artists when I could. He paused. And honestly, I liked the idea of discovering a hidden star. It makes a good story. Peter Mason was still there, listening. It makes a great story, he said. And I'd like to be the one to tell it. Ms. Brooks, could I have your phone number? I'd like to set up a proper interview. Lily gave him her number. Still feeling like this couldn't be real? Was this really happening? After all these years of just getting by, of pushing her dreams away, was there a chance they could come true after all? Mr. Phillips came back with Lily's coat and purse. Tips from tonight, he said, handing her an envelope. And Mr. Coleman's gift. He gave her another envelope, much thicker than the first. Thank you, Lily said, taking them both. No. Thank you, Mr. Phillips said. You just made Sapphire the most talked about restaurant in the city. I have a feeling we're going to be very busy for a while. As Lily walked out of the restaurant, she felt different. She stood straighter. She smiled at people she passed. For the first time in years, she felt like herself again, not just a waitress, but Lily Brooks, pianist. She didn't know what would happen next. Maybe nothing would come of Mr. Coleman's offer. Maybe the newspaper article wouldn't change anything. But something had already changed inside her. The music had been sleeping, not dead. Now it was awake again. When she got home to her small apartment, the first thing she did was call her mother. Mom, she said when her mother answered. Won't believe what happened tonight. As she told her mother the story, she could hear the happiness and surprise in her mother's voice. Lily, her mother said, I always knew your music would find a way back to you. That night, Lily dreamed of pianos and concert halls and music that soared to the ceiling and touched people's hearts. And for the first time in 7 years, it didn't hurt to dream. Lily woke up the next morning to the sound of her phone ringing. She reached for it, still half asleep. It was only 7 o'clock. Who would be calling so early? Hello, she said in a sleepy voice. Is this Lily Brooks? Asked a woman's voice. She didn't know. Yes, this is Lily. This is Carol from Channel 5 News. We'd love to have you on our morning show today to talk about what happened at Sapphire Restaurant last night. Lily sat up in bed, suddenly wide awake. What? How did you get my number? The video of you playing is all over the internet, Carol explained. Someone shared your contact information in the comments, so can you come to the studio at 9? Lily's mind was spinning. There's a video on the internet? Several videos, actually. They've gone viral. Hundreds of thousands of views already. It's all about the interview. I'm sorry I can't today, Lily said. I have to take my mother to a doctor's appointment. This wasn't exactly true, but Lily needed time to think. Everything was happening so fast. After she hung up, Lily quickly searched for herself online. Sure enough, there were videos of her playing at the restaurant. People had filmed her with their phones. The videos had titles like Waitress Shocks, Restaurant with Amazing Piano Skills and Hidden Musical Genius Discovered at Sapphire. There were thousands of comments, people saying they were moved to tears by her playing. People asking why she was working as a waitress. People saying she should be playing in concert halls. Then her phone rang again. It was another news station. Then another call from a local radio show. Then a text message from a number she didn't know, asking if she would play at a party next weekend. Lily turned her phone off. This was too much, too fast. She needed to think. She made herself a cup of coffee and sat down at her small kitchen table. What was happening yesterday? She was just a waitress. Today, people were calling her a musical genius. It didn't seem real. She looked at the card Mr. Coleman had given her. Should she call him? What would he say? What did he want from her? Before she could decide, there was a knock at her door. When she opened it, she was surprised to see a delivery man holding a large bouquet of flowers. "Lily Brooks?" he asked. "Yes, that's me. This is for you." He handed her the flowers and left. The flowers were beautiful, roses, lilies, and other flowers she couldn't name. There was a small card with them. It read, "Your music brought joy to everyone at Sapphire last night. Please call me when you're ready to talk. Henry Coleman." As she put the flowers in a vase, there was another knock at the door. This time it was another delivery. More flowers, and another. By noon, her small apartment was filled with flowers from people who had been at the restaurant the night before. Lily decided to go see her mother. She needed to talk to someone she trusted. Someone who knew her before all this happened. Her mother lived in a small house on the other side of town. When Lily got there, her mother was sitting in her favorite chair by the window, reading a newspaper. And there, on the front page of the local section, was a picture of Lily at the piano in Sapphire Restaurant. The headline read, "Hidden Virtuoso. Waitress stuns diners with world-class piano performance." "Mom," Lily said, pointing to the newspaper. "Did you see this?" Her mother smiled. "Of course I did. The phone has been ringing all morning. Friends calling to tell me they saw my daughter in the paper." She took Lily's hand. "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart." Lily sat down across from her mother. "I don't know what to do," she said. "Everything is happening so fast. People are calling, wanting interviews, asking me to play at events. And Mr. Coleman, the man I told you about, he wants to meet with me." Her mother squeezed her hand. "What do you want to do, Lily?" Lily looked out the window. "I don't know. Part of me wants to play again, to see where this could go. But another part is scared. It's been so long. And what about you?" "What about your care?" "Don't worry about me," her mother said firmly. "I'm doing much better now. The new medicine is working. I want you to be happy, Lily. You gave up so much for me. Maybe this is your second chance." Lily thought about it.
Maybe.
"You're right. Maybe I should at least talk to Mr. Coleman, see what he has to say." When she got back to her apartment, Lily turned her phone back on. There were dozens of missed calls and messages. But the one she was looking for was from Peter Mason, the music critic from the newspaper. "Ms. Brooks," message said, "my article about you will be in tomorrow's paper. But there's something else. I've spoken to some people at the Symphony Hall. They're interested in having you play at their benefit concert next month. It would be a short performance, just one piece. Please call me back if you're interested." Symphony Hall. Lily had dreamed of playing there when she was a student. It was the biggest, most important concert hall in the city. The best musicians in the world played there with shaking hands. Lily dialed Mr. Coleman's number. "Mr. Coleman?" she said when he answered. "This is Lily Brooks from Sapphire Restaurant." "Ms. Brooks," he said, sounding pleased. "I was hoping you'd call. How are you handling your newfound fame?" "It's overwhelming," Lily admitted. "I've never had so many calls and messages." "I can imagine," he said. "Listen, I'd like to meet with you to discuss some possibilities. Are you free for lunch tomorrow?" Lily thought about her work schedule. "I'm supposed to work the lunch shift at Sapphire tomorrow." Mr. Coleman laughed. "I think they'll understand if you need some time off. After all, you've made their restaurant famous overnight." "You're right," Lily said. "Let me call my manager. I'll get back to you." When she called Mr. Phillips at Sapphire, he was surprisingly understanding. "Lily," he said, "take all the time you need. In fact, the owner wants to talk to you about becoming our regular pianist on weekend nights. It would pay more than waitressing, and you'd only have to work 2 nights a week." Lily was surprised. "Really? That's very kind of him." "Kind? It's smart business. Since those videos went online, we've had calls from people all over the city wanting to make reservations. They all ask if the piano waitress will be playing. You're good for business, Lily." After she hung up, Lily called Mr. Coleman back and agreed to meet him for lunch the next day. Then she called Peter Mason about the Symphony Hall opportunity. "They're very interested," Peter told her. "It's a big event. Lots of important people will be there. It could be a great way to restart your career." "I haven't played seriously in 7 years," Lily said. "I'm so out of practice." "You didn't sound out of practice last night," Peter said. "But if you're worried, I know someone who might help. Dr. Alan Wright. He was a professor at Juilliard. He's retired now, but he still coaches a few special students. I could ask if he'd work with you. Lily remembered Dr. Wright. He was a legend at Juilliard, strict but brilliant. Do you think he would? She asked. Me make a call, Peter said. I'll get back to you. That night, Lily couldn't sleep. Her mind was full of possibilities. It's playing at Sapphire on weekends. Meeting with Mr. Coleman. Maybe performing at Symphony Hall? Working with Dr. Wright? It was all happening so fast. She got out of bed and went to the window. The city lights glowed in the darkness. Somewhere out there were concert halls where she might play again. There were people who wanted to hear her music. There was a life she thought was lost forever, now suddenly possible again. For the first time in 7 years, Lily allowed herself to hope. Not just a small hope for a better job or a raise, but a big hope. A dream she had put away for so long she almost forgot it was there. She was a pianist. And maybe, just maybe, the world would hear her play again. The next day, Lily met Henry Coleman for lunch at a fancy restaurant downtown. It was the kind of place Lily could never afford to eat at, but today she was a guest. She wore her best dress and tried to look confident as she walked in. Mr. Coleman was already there, sitting at a table by the window. He stood up when he saw her and smiled. Ms. Brooks, he said, thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me, Lily said as she sat down. A waiter brought them menus. Lily looked at the prices and felt her eyes go wide. Yes. A simple salad cost more than she made in 2 hours of work at Sapphire.
I'll order whatever you like,
Mr. Coleman said, noticing her surprise. It's my treat. After they ordered food, Mr. Coleman got right to the point. I have a proposition for you, he said. I'm on the board of the Symphony Foundation. We support the orchestra and help bring music to the city. Every year we have a big benefit concert to raise money. I'd like you to play at this year's concert. Lily was surprised. Peter Mason mentioned something about that. But I thought it was just an idea, not a real offer. It's very real, Mr. Coleman said. The concert is in 6 weeks. We'd like you to play one piece with the orchestra. It would be the highlight of the evening? 6 weeks? Lily said, feeling panic rise in her chest. That's not much time. I'm so out of practice. ... That's why I've arranged for you to work with Dr. Alan Wright, Mr. Coleman said. He's agreed to coach you, starting tomorrow if that works for you. Lily couldn't believe it. Dr. Wright was one of the most respected piano teachers in the country. Students waited years for a chance to study with him. How did you manage that? She asked. I made a donation to his favorite charity, Mr. Coleman said, with a small smile, and I sent him the videos of you playing. He was impressed. Said you have a rare gift. The waiter brought their food, but Lily was too excited to eat. This is happening so fast, she said. Sometimes life works that way, Mr. Coleman said. One moment changes everything. He took a folder out of his briefcase and slid it across the table to her. This is the offer. The Symphony Foundation will pay you for your performance. It's a good amount, enough to cover your living expenses for several months so you can focus on preparing. Lily opened the folder and saw the number. It was more money than she made in 6 months at Sapphire. Why are you doing this? She asked, looking up at Mr. Coleman. His face grew serious. My mother was a pianist, he said. She was very talented, but she gave it up to raise her family, me and my siblings. She never complained, but I could see the sadness in her eyes when she heard beautiful music. Before she died, she made me promise to help artists when I could. He paused. And to be honest, I like the idea of discovering a new talent. It's good for the symphony, good for the foundation, and good for me. Lily understood. Mr. Coleman was being kind, but he was also a businessman. This was partly charity and partly smart business. That made her feel better somehow. She didn't want to just take charity? What about my mother? She asked. I need to make sure she's taken care of. I've thought of that, Mr. Coleman said. The contract includes health insurance for you and your mother. It would cover her medical needs. Lily felt tears coming to her eyes. Health insurance would make such a difference for her mother. No more worrying about how to pay for medicine and doctors. Thank you, she said quietly. Don't thank me yet. Mr. Coleman said with a smile, Dr. Wright is a tough teacher. The next 6 weeks won't be easy. You'll have to work harder than you ever have before. Lily nodded. She was ready for hard work. She had been working hard all her life. The difference was that now she would be working at something she loved. The next day, Lily went to Dr. Wright's home for her first lesson. He lived in a beautiful old house with a music room that had a grand piano. Dr. Wright was an old man now, with white hair and glasses, but his eyes were sharp and clear. So, he said when Lily came in, you're the waitress who plays Rachmaninoff? Yes, sir, Lily said, feeling nervous. Sit down, he said, pointing to the piano bench. Let's see what you can do. For the next 2 hours, Dr. Wright listened to Lily play. Sometimes he stopped her to correct something. Sometimes he let her play a whole piece without interruption. He was strict but fair. When she made a mistake, he showed her how to fix it. When she played well, he nodded in approval. At the end of the lesson, he said, You have a gift, Ms. Brooks, but gifts need to be developed. You've lost time. Your technique is rusty. Your fingers need to be stronger, but the music is still inside you. You can bring it out again. How often should we meet? Lily asked. Every day, Dr. Wright said firmly. 6 weeks is not much time. We have work to do. As Lily left Dr. Wright's house, her phone rang. It was Mr. Phillips from Sapphire Restaurant. Lily, he said, I have good news. The owner wants to offer you a job as our regular pianist. Friday and Saturday nights. The pay is twice what you make as a waitress, and for fewer hours, Lily thought. About it, playing at Sapphire would give her a chance to practice performing in front of people again, and the money would help with her bills. I'd like that, she said. But I need to focus on preparing for the symphony concert first. Could I start after that? Of course, Mr. Phillips said. The job will be waiting for you. When Lily got home, there was a large package waiting for her. Inside was a beautiful new dress with a note for your performance at the symphony. Henry Coleman. The dress was simple but elegant. It was dark blue, the color of the night sky. Lily held it up and looked in the mirror. For a moment, she could almost see herself on stage at the Symphony Hall, playing for a full audience. That night, Lily called her mother to tell her everything that had happened. It's really happening, Mom, she said. I'm going to play at the Symphony Hall, and Dr. Wright is coaching me. We'll have health insurance. Her mother was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I always knew your music would find a way back. To you, Lily. I just didn't know how. Are you okay with all this? Lily asked. I'll be very busy for the next 6 weeks. I won't be able to visit as often. Don't worry about me, her mother said. This is your time, Lily. Your chance. Take it with both hands. The next 6 weeks were the hardest and most wonderful of Lily's life. Every day she worked with Dr. Wright for hours. Her fingers hurt, her back ached. Sometimes she felt like she couldn't play another note. But then the music would come alive under her hands, and she would remember why she loved it so much. In the evenings, she practiced alone in her apartment. She had borrowed a keyboard from a music store. It wasn't as good as a real piano, but it helped her practice. She played until her neighbors knocked on the wall, telling her it was time to stop. Week by week, she got better. Her fingers remembered their old strength and speed. The music flowed more easily. Dr. Wright nodded more often in approval. You ready? He said at the end of their last lesson. Tomorrow you'll play for the world again? Lily smiled. She was ready. The scared waitress who had spilled water on Henry Coleman's table was gone. In her place was Lily Brooks, pianist, ready to take back her dream. The night of the symphony benefit concert finally arrived. Lily stood backstage, looking out at the grand concert hall as it filled with people. The hall was beautiful, with high ceilings, golden lights, and rows of red seats. Men in dark suits and women in fancy dresses found their places. In the front row, Lily could see her mother in a new dress, sitting in her wheelchair. Next to her was Henry Coleman, checking his watch and looking around. Lily's hands were shaking. This was so different from playing in a restaurant. Hundreds of people had come tonight, many of them serious music lovers who went to concerts all the time. What if they didn't like her playing? What if she made mistakes? Dr. Wright came up behind her. He was dressed in an old-fashioned suit with a bow tie. Nervous? He asked. Lily nodded. Very good, Dr. Wright said. A little nervousness sharpens the mind, but remember, you're ready. We've worked hard. You know the music.
I'll just play.
It's like you played it yesterday in my studio. And what if I make a mistake? Lily asked. Then you make a mistake, Dr. Wright said simply. And you keep playing. Music isn't about being perfect. It's about touching people's hearts. You can do that, Lily. I've heard you do it. A man with a clipboard came over to them. Ms. Brooks, you're on in 5 minutes. Lily took a deep breath. This was it. After 6 weeks of hard work, after 7 years of not playing, she was going to perform at Symphony Hall. She looked down at her dress, the beautiful blue one Mr. Coleman had given her. She thought about how much had changed since that night. At Sapphire, when she spilled water on his table, how a simple question, do you play, had changed her life. This time, the man with the clipboard said. Lily walked onto the stage. The lights were bright, making it hard to see the audience. But she could hear them, hundreds of people clapping as she came out. She walked to the grand piano in the center of the stage and sat down. For a moment, she just looked at the keys, black and white, waiting for her touch. Then she placed her fingers on them and began to play. She had chosen Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto. No. 1. It was the piece she had been preparing to play 7 years ago, before she had to give up her career. Now she was finally playing it, with a full orchestra behind her. The music started softly, then grew stronger. Lily's fingers moved quickly over the keys, finding the right notes, bringing the music to life. The orchestra joined in, adding their sounds to hers. Together, they filled the hall with beautiful music. As she played, Lily forgot about being nervous. She forgot about the audience watching her. She was lost in the music, in the joy of playing again. Her body moved with the music, swaying slightly, leaning into the powerful parts, pulling back for the gentle parts. In the audience, people sat very still, listening. Some had their eyes closed. Some leaned forward in their seats. In the front row, Lily's mother had tears running down her face. Beside her, Henry Coleman was smiling, nodding his head slightly with the music. When Lily reached the final part of the piece, her fingers moved faster than ever. The music grew bigger, more powerful. The orchestra played louder. And then, with a final burst of sound, the piece ended. For a moment there was complete silence. Then the audience exploded with applause. People stood up, clapping and cheering. Some were shouting, "Bravo!" Flowers were thrown onto the stage. Lily stood up and bowed. Her heart was beating fast, but not from fear, now from happiness. She had done it. She had played at Symphony Hall, and people had liked it. They were still clapping, still standing. They didn't want her to leave. She looked at her mother in the front row, who was clapping and crying at the same time. Next to her, Henry Coleman was standing and clapping too, big smile on his face. After taking several bows, Lily finally left the stage. Backstage, Dr. Wright was waiting for her. For once, the strict teacher had tears in his eyes. "That was beautiful, Lily," he said. "Truly beautiful." People began coming backstage to meet her. Important people from the music world. The conductor of the symphony, head of a record company, a man who organized concerts in Europe. All wanted to talk to her, to tell her how much they liked her playing, to give her their cards and ask her to call them. Then her mother was there, being pushed in her wheelchair by a helper. Lily knelt down to hug her. "I'm so proud of you," her mother said, holding her tight. "So proud." "I couldn't have done it without you, Mom," Lily said. "You believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself." Henry Coleman came over, smiling broadly. "Miss Brooks," he said, "that was even better than I hoped. You've made this the most successful benefit concert we've ever had." "Thank you for giving me this chance," Lily said. "For everything you've done?" "Just opened a door," Mr. Coleman said. "You walked through it yourself." A woman in an elegant black dress approached them. "Miss Brooks," she said, "I'm Linda Reynolds from Harmony Records. We'd be interested in talking to you about recording an album." Before Lily could answer, another person came up. A tall man with glasses. I organized the International Piano Festival in London, he said. We would love to have you perform next season. More and more people came, all wanting to talk to her, all offering opportunities. Lily felt overwhelmed. This was happening so fast. Yesterday, she was practicing in her small apartment. Today, people wanted her to record albums and play in London. Mr. Coleman saw how she was feeling. I think Ms. Brooks needs some air, he said, guiding her away from the crowd. Let's step outside for a moment. They went to a small balcony overlooking the city. The night air was cool and fresh. Lily took a deep breath. It's a lot to take in, isn't it? Mr. Coleman said. Lily nodded. 6 weeks ago, I was a waitress. Now people want me to play all over the world. What do you want, Lily? Mr. Coleman asked. Not what these people want from you. What do you want? Lily looked out at the city lights. I want to play, she said simply. That's all I've ever wanted, is play music that touches people's hearts. Then that's what you should do, Mr. Coleman said. Don't worry about the rest. Just play your music. The right opportunities will come. When they went back inside, Dr. Wright was waiting for them. Lily, he said, I have a proposal for you. It's getting too old to teach many students. But I'd like to continue working with you. There's still so much we can do together. Lily smiled. I'd like that very much. Later that night, after all the excitement was over, Lily went back to her apartment. It seemed smaller now, after being in the Grand Symphony Hall, but it was home. She sat down at the keyboard she had borrowed and played a simple melody. First piece she had ever learned as a child. As she played, she thought about everything that had happened. How one moment had changed her life. How music had found its way back to her. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, decisions about which opportunities to take, worries about whether she could live up to people's expectations. But tonight Lily was simply happy to be playing again. Happy to have found her way back to who she really was. She looked at a photo of herself as a young girl, sitting at a piano, her face full of joy. I found my way back, she whispered to the little girl in the picture. And I won't lose my way. Again, outside her window, the city was quiet. But inside, Lily's heart was full of music. Music that had been silent for too long. Music that was now free to be heard by the world. Music that had been there all along, just waiting for someone to ask the simple question, do you play?